What's really good? What's really good? What's really good? Welcome back to another episode of Wednesday Night with the Sanchez Show. As always, I'm your host, Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games. Make sure you are subscribed to the podcast. We are live every Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Lock in on Monday nights, Real Fans, Real Talk, 7 p.m. Go back into the archives. Make sure you subscribe. Watch the old interviews. Watch the old videos. Watch the old predictions. Bunch of great content up there. So make sure you lock in. As I've teased in the past as well, now that we're getting into the summertime, we got so much to get into. Obviously, the NFL draft is about 3 weeks away. NBA playoffs will be starting in about 2.5 weeks. Major League Baseball is going on now. And as I like to say, this time of year is boxing season. So make sure you lock in because we're going to probably be adding an extra day of content as well. Tonight, as always, got my brother Will Gordon with me. Trip Young will be reappearing on the Sanchez Show tonight because we got so much to get into. We got to get into this Jaden Ivey conversation and the controversy surrounding that. We've got to talk Final Four. Can UConn make history? Will Arizona, will Michigan rise to the top and win it all this year? Could it be Illinois? So we got a lot to get into there. Um, and like I said, I know the comment section is already on fire. Like I said, Trip Young will be joining me shortly. Will Gordon will be on shortly. The comment section is buzzing. They want to talk about the Final Four. They want to talk about Jaden Ivey. So yeah, Trip, give me the thumbs up. Let me know when you're ready, bro. As always, got my main man, my brother, Trip Young in the building. Trip, how
What's
you doing,
going
bro?
on? I'm feeling a lot better today.
I was gonna ask you, yeah, man. I know. Monday was your flu game, but today
Yeah,
I think you're back.
yeah, I'm back now. I'm back now. I'm definitely back. I was going through it Monday night, but you know how we do for the supporters. I didn't want to disappoint.
Nah,
So
that's a fact. The supporters
yeah,
come through crazy. Like I said, the comment section is buzzing. I want to remind everybody. I talked about make sure you subscribe to Real Fans, Real Talk, and the Sanchez Show. But be on the lookout. Trip and I have done it the last, I mean, dating back to when we was in studio. So probably like last 7, 8 years, we've done our typical Monday show, but we also do a draft special. That's going to be coming up as well as we approach the NFL draft in about 3 weeks. So it is April. I got a major story we're gonna get into, Trip, to start out. It's off script. It was not part of the rundown, but it's come across my timeline. And then I saw somebody comment in this comment section about this particular player. This is not an April Fool's joke. There are rumors, Trip. And like I said, I know this is off topic, so we didn't get a lot of chance to kind of prep this question. But there are rumors that the Eagles have pitched Jalen Hurts in a trade. And one of the trades that's come up is the Eagles actually called Vegas about the number one pick for Jalen Hurts.
really.
Vegas said no. So that leads to this question. It wasn't the first question of the night, but like I said, this is the story that literally came across my timeline as I was setting up the live a few minutes ago. Shout out to Ron Ron. Report. Though there's plenty of blame to spread, Hurts has had his hand in the offense becoming calcified. That report, I believe, is from Jeremy Fowler. Jeremy
Hmm.
Fowler is also the one who's breaking the story that there's been rumblings within the Eagles organization that he is on the trading block. They kicked the tires with Vegas to see if they would be willing to trade the number one pick for Jalen Hurts. Trip, what do we make of this? Because Jalen Hurts has been to two Super Bowls. He's played well in both those Super Bowls, right? He was Super Bowl MVP. And yet, a year later, the issues with him and AJ Brown still exist. The offense, for whatever reason, looked nothing like they did the year from last year. There was a lot of criticism from the start of the season. Was he even a top 10 quarterback? I don't think he played like a top 10 quarterback this year. And now the Eagles, if this report is true, are shopping their quarterback who has taken them to two Super Bowls already. What should we make of this?
Um, it means if this is true, then they are choosing AJ Brown over Jalen Hurts. I and I get the Raider the Raiders trade because they have the number one pick, and you can get younger at the quarterback position, and you can save a lot of money on the cap to do some other things where the Eagles do need to fill out a couple of holes, and they have a good enough offense. They feel like with Saquon Barkley, with AJ Brown. Um, and the rest of that receiving core, that even if you bring in a kid like Mendoza, he can, you know, they're good enough around him that to whereas it's possible he could be the first rookie to lead a team, and win the Super Bowl, because they already have a lot of pieces in place, and that move would give them some more cap room to, pick up another guy or two to really kind of put the stamp on things this season. But I'm also, I can understand them saying no too, because this kid Mendoza is looking like he's going to be a generational guy, a franchise quarterback, and they're not willing to give that up, even though Jalen Hurts is proven he is a winner, of a Super Bowl. But as you just mentioned, he did not look like a top 10 quarterback this season. He did not look like a top 10 quarterback for a good portion of the beginning of his career. So now we kind of looking at maybe like a 2-3 year window here where he looked really good. Yeah, he possibly could have gotten an MVP, but we haven't gotten back to that yet. So the Eagles are looking at this thing like, you know, if we can get younger and cut some of that money down off the cap, why not? Obviously there's some type of issue here anyway with the offense, so yeah, they're trying to get him up out of there.
Uh, we know there's an issue there, obviously. AJ Brown is not being utilized to the best of his abilities. We know that. We see it. He's frustrated with it. It's apparent with everybody there in the organization. A couple of things about this conversation stuck out, and I'm glad you started with AJ Brown, because that was one of the first things I thought about. AJ Brown, technically, if they want to trade him, it won't happen until after June 1st because of the cap penalties that the Eagles would have to take
Yes,
on.
correct.
So that's why there's been no real conversation around a trade of AJ Brown just yet. Now I'm sure they've spoken to teams. I'm sure they've kind of gauged what the market is for AJ. But as of right now, no move is going to take place for at least 2 more months. The second part of this is they gave Jordan Davis a big extension right at the start of free agency, right? Jalen Carter is going to be the next guy to get the big extension. Now, Saquon's locked up, Devontae Smith's locked up, AJ has his contract, the old line. Like you said, somebody is going to have to sacrifice for all these pieces to stay. You can't have every position have one of the top 5 paid guys. Not to mention they got those 2 young corners who, in another year, you're going to have to decide if you're picking up their 5th-year option, especially for Quinyon Mitchell, who was a first-round pick, which they will pick up his 5th-year option. So you're going to have to pay a lot of guys on this team to make it work. The Jalen Hurts conversation, though, to me, this is where it gets interesting if you're the Eagles. To me, it sounds like they're saying we're good enough to compete for a Super Bowl even with a rookie quarterback. That's how good the talent is around the quarterback position. Because it's almost unheard of to swap out a veteran quarterback who's already had success for an unproven rookie. No matter how good you think Mendoza is, you're still swapping out the proven commodity for the unproven rookie, right? And if you're the Eagles, this could either be genius by Howie Roseman and say, hey, we were able to get the younger guy while still having all the talent, or it could be disaster because people could look back and say, hey, you had a championship window that, yes, you went to 2 Super Bowls with Jalen Hurts, but you had so much more opportunity because the talent on that roster was so stacked, and you traded Jalen Hurts for the unproven quarterback. So to me, I feel like the Eagles are saying point blank period. We think our roster is top notch. We think every position is elite, and the quarterback position is what's holding us back. Because when's the last time we've heard a team looking to trade their Super Bowl MVP quarterback in what's supposed to be his prime? And they're not asking for multiple picks. They're asking for 1 pick in return. That's crazy.
But you know what? Like, just because of the things that you said, I can see it, because if you think about it, right, when you look around the offense, right, you look at your running back Saquon. I'd say Saquon. I don't think you could go past 3rd, right? We're talking about running backs in the league. Okay, AJ Brown, where you have him at amongst wide receivers? Probably in the top, right? In the upper echelon.
I got him as a top 10, top 12 receiver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you have Jalen Hurts at his position right now?
right now, I think he would have to be outside the top 10. They were just quarterbacks that played better this year. Again, we're just going off last year, not total body of resume. Last year, he wasn't a top 10 quarterback.
Right. So now, I guess the Eagles looking at this thing like, well, out of our position players, he's the one that's the farthest back from being, in the upper echelon conversation. So he's expendable. I guess that's how they looking at it.
Oh, absolutely. They feel he's expendable. Will, give me a thumbs up. Let me know when you're ready. I think they're saying not only is he expendable, I think they're also letting it be known that they don't see a long-term future with Jalen Hurts. As always, got my brother Will Gordon in the building. Will, we're getting into this conversation. This came across the timelines just as we were going live. Jeremy Fowler from ESPN is reporting that Philadelphia, obviously, there's a lot of friction in that locker room, but that Philly actually offered Jalen Hurts up in a trade to the Raiders for the number 1 pick. The Raiders said no.
What?
Yeah, that came across the timeline just as we were going live. It's in his reporting, and as Tripp and I were discussing, I feel like it's a super unique conversation because I can't think of a time that a team was actively trying to trade their quarterback who had just been a Super Bowl MVP just last season. And in terms of age and where he's at in his career, this is supposed to be his prime. And you're not asking, because think about it this way. If Josh Allen, if Mahomes, if Justin Herbert, if Lamar Jackson, if one of those guys on the trading block, how many picks you think it would take to get one of them?
More than one.
Your whole franchise is for the future.
That's all they want? It's the first pick?
They literally were willing to do it straight up. First pick for Jalen Hurts.
You ain't getting Lamar Jackson without at least 4 first-round draft picks and a position player.
So that's why I want to know. I mean, the friction's got to be so crazy in Philly. And like I said right before you came on air, Will, I know Philly financially is going to have to make some tough decisions. They gave Jordan Davis his extension. They're going to have to give Jalen Carter his extension soon, right? Those 2 young corners, they're going to have to make a decision on them very soon. They're already 2 years in. A.J. Brown won't be traded if it's going to happen. It won't happen until after June 1st to avoid some of the cap penalties. So it seems like Philly's saying we can get a cheaper alternative at quarterback, keep the same core together. But more importantly, I think they're really saying we feel we can have the same type of success with developing a quarterback as we've had with Jalen Hurts. Because to take the number 1 pick, you're taking an unproven commodity.
Yeah. So that says, I was about to say that tells you 2 things. If that's when did that drop? I didn't see that at all. Like last half hour or so.
Within the last half hour, 45 minutes. And then Ron even posted this, one of the quotes from the article here. He posted that at 7-Eleven.
Okay. Well, it tells you 2 things. The money situation is part of it, because you want to the winning formula in the NFL is to have a successful young quarterback on a rookie deal, so you can pay everybody around him, and then when it's time to pay him, then you figure it out. Yeah. That's what you do for. What you do for transcendent, staples at the quarterback position. What this tells me is they don't think Jaden's worth that investment. So that's exactly what that says. Because when you're saying, all right, let me give him up, because when you say you're not worth the investment, that's telling me you don't think he's like that, and you in the building with him. You telling me it's us, it ain't you. You know what I'm saying? It's what we got going on. You ain't really the straw that stirs the drink. You know what I'm saying? You might be one of the ice cubes to keep it cold, but we can get rid of you and throw another cube in there. You ain't stirring this thing. So that's what that's telling me. And then if they were trying to go that high up, hey, we gonna dangle this quarterback and we're gonna dangle this carrot, see if you bite. And then it didn't happen. The fact that it comes out, it's like now we at a point where do we go from here? Because you're supposed to say, okay, well, the pundits and all, the buttoned up guys that ain't never played a sport in their life will say, well, you're supposed to just go back to work. You're a professional, but nah, it ain't gonna rock like that.
Right.
It ain't gonna rock like that. If you was trying to move me, for a rookie, and
Yeah.
you could say it was financial, but I got chips. Or you know what I'm saying? I've been there and done that. And you trying to maybe go get this kid from Indiana. You know what I'm saying? It's
After I
just
won y'all a Super Bowl.
yeah, exactly. I bought one home. I had Gilly out here dancing in these streets.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? I had Too Short charting again. Now y'all on this.
I'll tell you one thing: if a trade do happen, Cam Newton gonna have a field day with this one.
So
Oh my.
yeah, and there's a lot of layers to this, bro, because I think this also speaks to something that we wondered with the whole AJ Brown situation. AJ Brown may have been the face of the frustration, but obviously whatever was being said behind closed doors is they shared that frustration with AJ Brown.
Yep.
Because like you said, for them to even throw that idea out there, you know that's gonna get leaked to the media. You
Yeah.
know that's gonna get leaked, right? Whether the trade goes through or not, you're telling me nobody's ever gonna say, hey, Philly called about the number one pick. Because everybody, especially this time of year, and that's the other part of it too, the timing of it.
Yeah.
We're in April now, right? Draft talk is heating up. Everybody's looking at their big board. What can we do? Where can we go? What type of moves we can make? And if Philly made that call, what do you think the reaction would have been within the city of Philadelphia if Vegas says, yeah, let's do it, call it in? We're like
Straight up.
do you think the city of Philly would have been excited about having the number one pick and Fernando?
Straight up 1-for-1. Straight up.
One.
I think it would. I think it'd be just like politics. It would right down the middle of that city. You would have had your side that said the Jalen got us that championship. That
Yeah.
Jalen, is performed for us, and then you're gonna have that side that says, but you know what I'm saying. But there was this game. But he holds on the ball for a little too long. But he doesn't make the huge throws. But the tush push. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be two sides to that conversation.
Especially if he doesn't pan out, because there's always that
Right.
chance too.
That too, yeah. Because you rolling the dice on a rookie.
Yep.
Right.
You taking that big chance, and then you come in and you don't perform, and we done had this. We done sold the fans, the team, everybody on this idea that we're good enough that we could bring this rookie who has never stepped foot on an NFL field professionally to play ball before. We're gonna trade our Super Bowl MVP quarterback for this kid, and then he doesn't pan out. Oh my goodness.
Well, I mean, listen, that speaks to a deeper conversation, right? Nick Sirianni may feel like Jalen Hurts ain't good enough to help me keep my job.
And a rookie quarterback will extend it.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Because now you buy yourself a little bit more runway where you say, look, all right, we don't expect to win it next year, right? He's a rookie. So now you might have bought yourself 2 or 3 years as the head coach, knowing you're developing the guy. Whereas Jalen Hurts, there might be the pressure from people to say, look, Jalen is your guy. And he's been very up and down. He's been super inconsistent. I know you won't with him, but you also got our star receiver that's frustrated with him. So what are we doing?
So now I think it almost turns into, because I really don't think you can come back from this. If this if this is real news and out there, you can't. I don't think. Well, is that locker room strong enough to go into the season or go into the going to training camp knowing that your quarterback was that they thought they could just move on from him? You know what I mean? It's going to be a lot of emotions and feelings involved in what's going on moving forward, and then there's going to be teams calling for Jalen.
Yes, key guys had to speak up though, because you're not for something like this to come out. Key guys within the organization, players, staff included, is all down with this, because there ain't no way if anybody had even thought of this that this is going to get out like this, because now it's almost like you put yourself in a position where you have to trade Jalen Hurts at this point,
right?
Because his mental, you don't know where his mental is going to be going into this next season. So now you pretty much put yourself in the box. You got to trade him.
Yep.
I think the locker room has to be divided. For Howie Roseman to even entertain that idea, that means there had to be multiple people who have said this isn't going well, or we've reached our peak with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Because if you're Howard Roseman, we praise him all the time about the trades he makes and or how savvy he is. There's no way you even make that call for fear of that conversation getting out, unless you know you got the support of the locker room and the head coach.
Yeah.
Because think about the backlash you take as the GM. You trying to trade our Super Bowl MVP quarterback?
But think about the guys that don't want Jalen traded, because they're already now the wheels.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, those guys too. So both ends of this thing is going to be crazy.
It's a divided locker room because you had to have some vets who have voiced their frustration, but then you got guys who are probably like, nah, Jalen is our guy. We've been to 2 Super Bowls with him, right? He's held it down for us.
Yeah.
So it's
but you know what? The one thing that should unite that locker room, though, but it probably won't. But the one thing that this whole situation should unite them is any of y'all can go. Any of y'all can go. Ain't nobody safe.
Listen, I'm just glad I wore my Giants hats tonight when you told us this news, Eric, because I just love this.
It's gonna be. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be super interesting on draft night because there have been some early indications that they were going to target the receiver out of Indiana, Omar Cooper. If they target a weapon, then it probably speaks to, hey, we're going to try to give Jalen more help. But if they go defense, and it's already a stacked defense, if they go defense, that might be their way of saying, listen, we're not giving Jalen anything else. We're loading up on that side of the ball, and Jalen's going to have to prove that he can lead this team. Because, and I'm not saying they don't have enough on offense. They got 2 Pro Bowl receivers. They got a Pro Bowl running back. They got Pro Bowl linemen. They got more than enough weapons. If they give Jalen another weapon, then I think it's a sign of confidence in their quarterback. If they go defense, then it might be the sign of like, we're good on giving Jalen weapons, and he's going to have to prove what we have.
Yeah.
Shout out to the comments. Shout out to Gary. I see you in there, Gary.
What up, Gary?
Will, this one's for you. It's Squeeze. He heard Tripp and I take on this, but he said he wanted to get your thoughts on the Duke UConn ending, and will Caden Boozer always be known for that no matter what he does moving forward?
Yes, he will. Because we still calling time out to Chris Webber. So I mean, really, that I think the whole Duke should be remembered for not holding on to the ball and trying to play hot potato when you didn't have to. It was an epic breakdown of fundamental knowledge of basketball, but it couldn't have happened to a more fitting team. F Duke for life. I hate Duke. I will always hate Duke. And I think for me, it was fitting. But the thing I think gets overlooked in the whole situation, we keep talking about how Duke handled it, but the way UConn handled it, man, it was so beautiful to see the deflection after the bad pass, catch, pass back. You know what I'm saying? The ball never. What was beautiful to me, the ball never touched the floor after the deflection. It was perfect. Everything was set up perfect. After my man gave the ball up, he was ready to catch and shoot. And shout out to the dude that had the assist on that play, because he had a look. And most 9 out of 10 players would have took that shot. I think what needs to be more focused on is how beautifully those young men on the UConn side of the ball handled that pressure, but in such vast contrast to how Duke handled that pressure situation. And as a Duke hater, I love it. But shout out to UConn for the way they handled that thing. They handled that situation perfectly.
Yeah, I said it that night. I mean, I want to give UConn as much credit as possible. They did handle the pressure not only in that moment, but also to chip away at the lead, right? It would have been easy to pack it up. You're down 15 at half, you're down 19 at one point. It's easy to be like, all right, guys, we had a great year, and you just fold. But they didn't. They kept chipping away. But it's without a doubt a Duke collapse. It's without a doubt. Because there is no singular stat that you can point to that you can say, this was the difference in why UConn came back. Shooting was pretty much even, whether it's the twos or the threes or from the free throw line. There was no significant difference either way. Turnovers, it was 20 to 7 in turnovers in favor of UConn. And points off turnovers, they were a plus 13. But again, it was a plus 10 up into that last shot. That makes it a plus 13. So there wasn't a significant advantage either way, other than Duke just choked. And Duke collapsed. And the fact that this happened last year in the tournament for Duke, the fact that their last 4 losses under John Shire are all games where they led by at least 15 points and lost, that speaks again to what you talked about, Will, handling the pressure. For whatever reason, Duke, with John Shire as the head coach, have not found a way to handle the pressure, and UConn proved they could.
And have you guys, I think both of you probably seen it by now, the viral clip that's going around of Shia talking to his players a couple months ago watching film.
Watching an NBA game, late game scenario.
It was a Dookie in that same situation, or a similar type situation, and he's like preaching that this is why we're Duke and blah 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 blah, and then that clip aged like milk, because now you know what I'm saying. It's you had that game in your hand, and then you gave up the 19-point lead, but then all you had to do was, once that ball got inbounded, hold it, just hold it. You're gonna get fouled.
Yep.
Knock down some free throws.
It was 10 seconds. You didn't have to cross half court.
Yeah, you didn't have to do nothing. Yeah. Catch and hold the ball, and they got to foul you, or the time's going to expire. You know what I'm saying? So,
right. I think the difference in experience showed in that final possession, right? So UConn makes the second free throw to go down 2. There are some inexperienced coaches that would have called the timeout to set up their press. Instead, Hurley didn't. He allowed the chaos to play out, right? We're just going to play. We're going to try to get the steal, and if we got to foul, we foul. And then even after the steal, Hurley said, I didn't want to call timeout because I knew it was a hectic situation, so just let it play out, as opposed to call timeout and Duke can now set up a defense. On the flip side, John Shire has that timeout. When Cam Boozer passes the ball away, at that point, it's the ball's out of your best player's hands. Call timeout. Call timeout, settle everybody down and be like, hold on. We want you to take the foul. We don't want you passing the ball. Take the foul. As the best player on our team, up to, with at that point 7 seconds to go, take the damn foul. He didn't call timeout, and instead that's how the game ends.
I just love that it happened to Duke. Anybody else, I feel bad for them. Anybody else, I'd be like, oh, those kids, man, poor kids. It happened to some Dookies, man. F you.
Shout out to Ron. He goes, with 4 teams remaining, who do you all have winning both games and the championship? Trip, I'm gonna let you go first.
I'm gonna say the UConn or Arizona. I think one of those 2 teams do it.
Will?
I think Arizona's gonna win the whole thing, man. I think it's their time. They've been consistently dominant. And I think that it's going to be probably one of the better Final Fours we've seen in the last few years, though, because I think everybody there. I think you can make a case for every single team. Like, you can almost make a convincing case for every single team on why they should win. But that's why, for me, it comes back to who's been the most steady at it, and that's why I'm going with Arizona.
I think Arizona wins as well. I think it's going to be Arizona and Illinois in the championship game. I talked about this on Monday. As much as I love UConn, coming off of that emotional high, but then having to wait a week to play, I could see a letdown. I could see where you emotionally just drained from all the praise and everything that took place and winning that game where you did, to now have to recreate that energy and that momentum. I think Illinois and Arizona in the championship game, and I got Arizona winning. Shout out to Poole. She said, let's talk women's side of the thing. South Carolina, UConn on Friday in the semifinal game. Who y'all rooting for? Who y'all got winning? UConn is elite this year. I do have UConn winning this game, but I think both coaches are great. It's going to be the ultimate chess match. What you think, Will?
My apologies to Pooh. I didn't even know who's still playing on the women's side, but I'm always root for South Carolina. Dawn Staley, anything she's involved with, I'm Team Staley from the jump. Hey Pooh, I used to watch Dawn Staley when she played at Virginia when I was still back in Maryland. So it's like she was right up the road. I've been a Dawn Staley fan since way back, and just to see what she's done at the coaching level is outstanding. And I'm Team Staley, so I'm rocking with them with no knowledge of what's going on or who the players are. None of that. I'm gonna always rock Team Staley. That's all I got on that.
Who you got, Trip?
I'm gonna go South Carolina. On that side of the bracket, I think they beat UConn. I can't go against Coach Staley. And on the other side of that, I'm gonna say UCLA comes out. They got that girl. What's her name? Lauren Betts, something like that. I think. Yeah. She's really good. So I think it winds up being South Carolina, UCLA, but I think Coach Staley gets it done again.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great matchup either way. Like I said, the coaches, Staley and Gino, it's going to be a great one. Shout out to Wes Wesley. We're going to get into the Jaden Ivey thing. We're going to save that a little bit because I know that's going to be a lengthy conversation. Let's get to some of these other questions before we get to that. Squeeze want to know, Tiger Woods stepping away from golf to seek treatment after DUI arrest. Tiger is a billionaire. He can't hire a driver. Of course he can hire a driver, Squeeze. But what fun would that be? Tiger said, I'm outside. I'm not hiring no driver. I'm living my best life. And now I do hope he gets whatever help he needs. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to sit here and say he needs help just because he had a DUI, right? I don't know the circumstances that led up to all that. Is it careless of him? Yes, it's careless. Does that mean he has a drinking problem? No, because I would be a hypocrite. I don't have a drinking problem. But guess what? There's been plenty of times that after hanging out, I drove my car. So I'm not going to say that he has a problem. But if he feels he needs treatment, good for him. And I do wish him the best. I'm not going to judge that man based off of one isolated incident.
Tiger Woods, you know what it is with Tiger? It's like, as a culture, because Tiger Woods is the only brother in golf, I feel like we put so much on Tiger that he got to hold down everything for us because he, for a long, even now, ain't nobody bigger than Tiger Woods in golf, even now. You know what I mean? Like, just what he did. And because of that, as the coach, we put so much on his shoulders. It's just like we forget, he's still human. But I think, Tiger is out here raw dogging life again. He got to get it together. I'm sorry, man. You can't. It's too much, Tiger. Like, come on, we keep going to bat for you time and time again, and this is more stuff just keep going down. It's like, bro, come on, you like at what point? Really, this what we doing right now?
Hold on, Trip. I'm gonna play devil's advocate, right? Because, like I said, it's careless to get behind the wheel of your car if you have been drinking. That is careless. So I'm not making excuses for that. But there have been other famous golfers like John Daly, who is notorious for having these wild outbursts after being drunk, who's had a bunch of issues while intoxicated. And for John Daly, it's treated as like, oh, that's part of his character. That's who he is as a person, right? He's the drunk uncle that you want to invite to all the cookouts and all that. And this is the other part that I think is overlooked with Tiger. And again, I'm not making excuses for Tiger because it was careless. One of the things that we forget, though, is Tiger has had so many surgeries on his body. He could be self-medicating through alcohol. I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm just saying we mad at Tiger, but we're not mad at other people who live in the same way.
Yo,
I would say the same thing to anybody in this situation. The problem is, and again, this is because he is the golf guy, and we don't have
He's
that many
royalty.
golf
He's
guys.
golf royalty. He's
So
royalty.
we just go, yeah. So it's just like we over the years have given Tiger so much grace. It's just like I'm just to the point where it's like, bro, come on, man. Like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like, how, like, you know, because the reality is, some people have the luxury to where they're gonna have a different narrative told about them. We don't have that luxury.
Okay.
Tiger does not have that luxury. So it's just like that's why I'm just where I'm at. I'm just like I listen. Tiger Woods is always gonna be my guy. I love Tiger Woods. You can't take anything away from his greatness, what he did for golf, what he did for the culture. You can't take nothing away. I will always love Tiger, but getting older, man, and you older than you know what I'm saying. It's just like, come on, bro. Like, stop putting us in the position where we got to give you the grace.
Yo, y'all know he wasn't drunk, right?
That he
Y'all know
was.
he blew a zero. He blew a 0.0.
I didn't see what it was that he blew. Pause.
0.0. He was off the meds. That's why I was trying to cut in. He wasn't drunk. It was he off them painkillers, man. And then you could say it's because of all the surgeries he's had.
Did
But
he
then you
have
could
a-
say
he wasn't drinking at all.
0.0 is what he blew.
Yeah, I didn't see what he blew.
And that's what I'm saying. He's off them painkillers. Now you can say all the surgeries he's had, but then some people say he's addicted to surgery to get the painkillers. So you know what I'm saying? That's a slippery slope when you mess with them opioids and all them and all that. But the man blew a 0.0. He was not drinking.
Yeah, see, so I mean that changes a little bit of the conversation. But at the end of the day, listen, if that's what he's going to get treatment for, I do wish him the best. Again, I don't want to see him get hurt. I don't want to see him hurt anybody else. But to me, I'm not going to be overly critical of Tiger. I'm just not. Because this is somebody who's been living in the public eye since he was, what, 13, 14?
Yeah.
And the two incidents we talk about the most are that night with his wife at the time, right, when he backs out of the driveway and crashed the car. And that night, she had even said he had woken up from taking some medication when they started arguing about something, and he tried to leave the house.
Yeah.
And in this instance, so I'm not gonna be overly critical with Tiger based off just those two things. I'm sorry, I'm just not.
Yeah.
We got a football joint from Ron here. Browns owner Deshaun has a great chance to be a starter. Now, for people that haven't been following this story, Shador. I'm sorry. Let's start there. Shador was drafted last year along with Dylan Gabriel. Deshaun sat out all of last year. Deshaun, at this point, might be the worst NFL trade ever. They bring in a new head coach after Stefanski was fired. And with them having the 6th pick in this year's draft, there's been rumors about possibly an old lineman or a receiver. And now it looks like they're going to circle back to Deshaun. Will, this is your neck of the woods. You're in that area. What are the people saying? Because I would be surprised if everybody is excited about Deshaun coming back as the starter.
Nobody is talking about wanting Deshaun even on the team up here. But when he comes out and talks about, pretty much says it's an open competition for quarterback, when Dylan Gabriel's still there, after what happened with last year, when Stefanski tried to force feed him in there, and then you talking about Deshaun, but he did say, well, hey, I wasn't here when it happened, but blah blah blah. Listen, all this is preseason talk. I mean, pre-draft talk. They try to make it sound like Deshaun is valuable because they love to get something out of him, if not for a desperate team that's looking to deal for somebody.
A 6th round pick? Who's giving you more than a 6th round pick for Deshaun Watson right now?
But I'm telling you, they take that.
Jalen Hurts. They don't take Deshaun Watson.
They take that to get him from out of there. They would take that.
You're
gonna take something.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Well, You're gonna take that. But as far as what this like what the streets is talking, everybody think Deshaun like he been out of football too long.
Yeah, that's what I'm
No,
saying.
really.
Like,
So I mean, but
if you're a Browns fan, are you even excited about that?
no, they not. That's what's funny. They pissed. Like everybody up here is team Sanders. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's all behind Shador, and it's kind of like Shador almost need to be like, oh really? Here we go again with some bullshit. Like when everybody watches football, consider Shador to be QB1 for the Browns going into this year, and was like, oh, now he's going to have the offseason that he wasn't able to have as a rookie because of the disconnect with Stefanski. Maybe now he's going to get opportunities as a first string quarterback with get first string reps. Now all that's up in the question again. If you really going to try to make it a competition and say that, because if it's a competition, Deshaun really should get first dibs. And I mean, if it's a competition, I'm not saying if.
I don't know. If why should he get first dibs?
Well, he should definitely. Well, who should get more reps? I would say Deshaun.
I think it's
because he's been out of football longer. He's getting paid more, and he's the vet.
Yeah, but none of those things tied to the current coaching staff. If
no, right. That's true. But going into it, then why is it even a competition there with a new coaching staff? Who would you want? Would you want to start out with Shador, or would you want to start with Deshaun?
Because it's the Browns, still being the Browns.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I could say to explain this situation and to try to have some type of understanding of why would you come out and.
It's all about.
See, that's the thing. Like I'm trying to rationalize irrational thinking. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it is up here.
Because that didn't make no sense for them to even go in that route, knowing what just went down last season. This is the perfect way, and I'm glad because I feel like, and this is an attribute to Dion. I feel like he's raised his children to be such strong men that this wouldn't shake his confidence, but I think a lot of confidence, if a lot of young quarterbacks coming in the way things happened last year, and I'm not even talking about just the being a later draft pick, but just coming in having to deal with the QB controversy, then you finally get a start. But it's like the team is against you, the coach is against you, everybody's against you. You finally get that out the way. You show that you're way better than the guy they drafted. Get through the season, get to your first Pro Bowl. Okay, now we come back again. Now it's this guy. Now I got to worry about Deshaun Watson over my shoulder now. That is enough to shake a young quarterback's confidence and to really mess up the trajectory of their career, because confidence is a big thing when you're talking about sports. So, the Browns, they need to just, how you ever seen that meme when the baby doo-doo and it's all over everything and it's just like you got to throw away the whole baby? The Browns got to throw away the whole Browns. That's it. They just got everything got to go.
Yeah.
That don't make no sense.
I've come up with a term for the Browns organization because like you just said, Trip, it was almost like when they got Stefanski up out of there and were giving Shador the endorsement, you were like, okay, maybe now y'all get it. And then to come around and do this right now before the draft, I came up with the term. It's not, how like there are dysfunctional franchises, Cleveland, Washington, Tennessee right now, Jacksonville for a long time. It's a lot of the Jets.
Because look, you remember
what's happening?
All those kids was wearing the Shador jerseys and all of that. So
right.
Like, we got this guy out of here.
But the Browns, it's what we need to label them as, is separate them from the rest of the bad teams, and they're their own entity.
Yeah, they're
It's
dysfunction.
systemic dysfunction with this organization.
But check it. This is what I was gonna say, right? I don't think there is a tie between this current staff and Deshaun Watson. So therefore, Deshaun, nobody has the lead. It's whoever Mike Munchkin wants to work with as his quarterback.
Yeah.
Because whoever he interviewed with, their GM, specifically Andrew Berry, and said, hey, this is the guy I'm excited to work with, that's who's going to get first dibs. So if Munchkin is in on Shador and feels like, hey, I want the year to work with Shador, that's who's going to be. Now, if Deshaun plays great in preseason and is the better alternative, then maybe you do go that way, right? Because I'm not ruling that out either. Everybody's going to get some sort of rep during the preseason, and if you're happy with it, then you go with it. But I will say, if you're the Browns, and to Will's point, you've been bad for so long, why are you even entertaining the idea of Deshaun playing quarterback? At this point, you count your losses. It is what it is. It was a terrible move. It didn't work out for us. There was nothing positive that came from it. All right, we have this younger alternative. At the very least, let's give Shador a year. If Shador is bad, guess what? Next year's draft is considered one of the deepest drafts in terms of quarterbacks.
Yep.
So if Shador is bad and it doesn't work out, then you're probably drafting top 10 next year anyway.
Yeah.
And then you can go right back, right? And then you can go right back into the draft and say, all right, we gave Shador the year. It didn't really work. And now we're just going to go get the guy we want. But to me, there is nothing positive out of bringing Deshaun Watson back. This is a super young locker room. The one thing, and I agree with you, Will, and I laugh all the time about the jokes you make about the Browns. I always tell you to this day, the funniest analogy that I've heard in terms of sports, I still to this day, it's still classic, where you said Mel's Diner is greater than Freddy's Kitchens. That's still the best joint. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. But if you're the Browns, the one thing I will say that the Browns have positive, you look at their draft last year, they hit on a lot of those picks. Schlesinger, the linebacker, Graham, the D lineman, Fannin, the tight end, Judkins, the running back, right? If Shador hits, that means you would have got 5 productive rookies out of that one draft class. At the very least, just develop them. Let them play. Live with the mistakes. Let them play. Let them play. And so what if you win 5 games this year, 4 games? So what? Nobody's picking you to win the division. Nobody's picking you to make the playoffs. And it's the first-year head coach, so he's got the leeway to do that. Play the young guys. And if Shador doesn't work out and you realize, hey, at the end of the year, he may not be our guy, no harm, no foul. We'll go into the draft next year where there are plenty of young, talented guys. But if you're the Browns, and if you're a Browns fan, you should be highly upset if they even joke about the idea of Deshaun Watson being the starter.
It's like if you let's say you about to go on a road trip, right? Cross country trip. And you can either go on that trip in a brand new car with no, you know what I'm saying, brand new car. It might have 1,000 miles on it, if that. Do you want to take that car across the country, or do you want to take a Cutlass Supreme, like an '86 Cutlass Supreme with 300 on the motor? It might look good. It looked real good 10 years ago, but it don't look as good now. It's been in the garage for a minute. You ain't drove it for a while. You know what I'm saying? You started it. You might have started it up a couple times a few years ago just to see if the engine would turn over. Now, which one you want to take that cross country trip with? The new car or that Cutlass?
Right.
So why are you even bringing up the Cutlass right now, Cleveland?
That's for the
Show us that Cutlass.
Let it go. The old school. You know what I'm saying? That was something back in the day. They can't let it go.
You know what? I might take the Cutlass to the store and back, but I ain't trying to go on a long journey. So what are you trying to do, Cleveland? Are you trying to go on the journey, or you just trying to get to the corner and back?
Yeah, I agree. It makes no sense. Shout out to Kyrie. I actually got this game in the background right now. Boston has 53 points in the first quarter against the Heat. Yeah.
53?
Sam Hauser has 17 points in the first quarter against the Miami Heat. They are killing the Heat. And it's 61-39 right now with 8 minutes to go in the second quarter.
They're going to need 83 from Bam tonight to come back.
Wesley West says, I have a question before the show is over. Why do y'all, Will and Eric hate Duke? Is it because of the success they've had over the years? I don't hate Duke.
I do. I'll tell you that.
Will might say, I don't hate Duke. I call it like it is. They choked several times over the last 2 seasons. So I'm not hating on Duke. And if you're referencing the comments I made on Monday, I was speaking facts. The last 26 years, UConn has been more successful than Duke. I saw a comment somebody made where they said Duke is still a blue blood and it's still a right here, squeeze. He said, Eric, I kind of disagree with you about UConn being better than Duke. I think they have a better resume of late, but brand-wise, Duke is bigger. All the top players still go to Duke. You just proved my point, Squeeze. If their resume is better, they have been better. Now, your brand is your brand, right? Duke has an amazing brand, and they are a blue blood. And like I said, they're going to continue to produce top 5 talent in the NBA. But your resume speaks to how well you've done the job. And who's done the job better over the last 26 years? UConn has done the job better. 6 championships in the last 26 years compared to the 3 that Duke have won. They have done the job better. That's not to say Duke has been terrible. That's not to say Duke isn't worthy of the praise we give them. But the team that's been more successful has been UConn. And UConn, again, as I highlighted Monday, they're second team since 1970 to be in 3 of 4 Final Fours. They have a chance to do something that only the Wood and UCLA Bruins had ever done, to win 3 championships in 4 years. So we got to give credit where credit is due. It's not hate. Will, go ahead. I'll let you speak on your hate, though.
I hate Duke. I'm proud of it. I won't ever back down from it. I grew up in ACC country. My cousin started 4 years under Gary Williams. My sister graduated from Maryland. I was on campus all the time. I'm a Terp through and through. And if you a Terp, then it's always been F Duke. I'm a little older. I'm about to be 47 this month. So I was around in the Christian Laettner days and the Bobby Hurley, and I was seeing those games. I like. What'd you say?
I said, so they hurt you a lot, huh?
Oh man, come on. I mean, you know, I go back to Lenny as far as the ACC. I go back to the Bias days, you know. But I was there for the Gone in 60 Seconds game. You know what I'm saying? Duke has had a lot of. This has been on the side of a lot of disappointments for my Terps over the years. But that goes back. My hate for them is strictly rooted in ACC basketball. Growing up in ACC basketball, I hate Duke. I hate North Carolina. I hate everybody that was in the ACC back then. But I would say I dislike all those other teams, but I hate Duke. And Duke was always, especially coming from where I come from, Duke was always the trust fund kids, the travel ball white boys. You know what I'm saying? They were the anti, like when the Duke Michigan national championship. I thought I was gonna cry at the end of that thing, because it was like one side, like our side against their side. You know what I mean? And it's always been that with Duke for me. And now I'm not gonna say it was like a white school against a black school, because you know, Grant Hill, and other players. I'm not gonna sit here and go through them all. And Grant Hill's a DMV dude. It was never that. It was just always. I hate Duke because they always got the calls. You know what I'm saying? They were all, as any ACC fan, they were always the team that got the calls. They always had the pretty white boys that you felt like got the calls. They had the travel ball, trust fund babies. So it was always just like, it was looked at as
you just like their style. That's you could call it what it is.
Yeah, like I mean, it was always like the city against the suburbs all the time.
You know what I mean? Your hate, it's all good with me.
Listen.
Yeah, I'm gonna own it. You know what I'm saying? And it's always rooted in that.
You ain't got to go into a deep thought thesis on.
No, I just want people to think I'm just like, oh, I hate them just because they do. No, I got reasons, you know.
Let's hold on. Let's get to
act like they're not haters that I have an issue with when they know, you know, it's just hate. Like Eric, I know it comes from an unbiased place. Will, I know is a hater, and I can accept that because he's a self-admitted hater. So it's cool.
I got me a hater. Why I got me that? See, that comes back to.
Hold on. Let's get to some of these other questions, because we got that Jaden Ivey conversation that I know is going to take up some time.
Yeah.
So let's run through some of these other ones here. Squeeze says Spurs have won 25 last 27. Wemby has in most polls jumped SGA for MVP. Can Spurs get to the finals? Absolutely. I talked about this on Monday. The Spurs have all the pieces to get to the finals. But I'll let you guys speak on it if you have any additional thoughts y'all want to put on that.
Oh, you take it, Will, because y'all.
I got the Spurs going. Like I got my finals is the Spurs and the Celtics.
I agree. That's what I got too.
Yep, yeah, and Wemby, good lord, man,
If Cade
this
doesn't
dude is not fair.
you have the Pistons going.
Nah, I don't think the Pistons could beat the Celtics in a series. I love Cade's game, but Cade doesn't have that running mate he needs yet. He needs another guy right now. That offense is way too reliant on Cade, and in a playoff series, you know that's not a success. That's not a successful recipe.
It's Cade in the pips right now.
Right. Pooh said Luka had a crazy March. The Lakers 14-2. Biggest takeaway from what you're seeing from the Lakers right now. For me, the biggest takeaway has been going to that zone defense. That zone defense is giving some teams trouble. Now, Luka's played great. They found a way, him and LeBron, to kind of play off of each other. But their biggest issue with having Luka, LeBron, and Reeves all on the court together was defense. They can't stop anybody. Now they're finding ways to get stops with that zone defense while still being able to keep that A-plus level offense. So I think, to me, that's been the biggest takeaway. Y'all got anything y'all want to add to that?
I don't like the zone.
Whether you like it or not, it is official.
I don't like that. I don't like the NBA. I remember when you couldn't play it. That's the only thing. It's like I don't like it now because you can play it now.
Yeah. Shout out to Raymond P50. The Cavs. They have all this talent, but why can't they be trusted playoff time? And this is dating back a few years ago. Trip, I'm gonna let you go first.
Well, one, they brought James Harden over, so why would you think they could be trusted now? Trusted before. Yeah, so there's that. And they have a history. Like, I mean, they ain't got prime LeBron James there, so and we've seen them fizzle out the last couple of seasons in the playoffs. Now, who knows? Maybe because two negatives make a positive, right? Is that how it goes? Maybe because they used to fizzling out and James used to fizzling out around the second round. Maybe that'll change things and maybe they possibly advance. But, that's what the team is known for. And that's what James is known for. So,
Will?
To piggyback on what he just said, like James Harden is not gonna when you bring him on your team, that's for regular season stuff. It's not for playoffs at all because he does not perform. He does not come through. But I think it goes deeper with Cleveland because
don't let Pat Bev hear you say that. He don't like that.
right.
Kyrie,
yeah.
we
he said he's better than D Wade, right? Yeah, that's Pat Bev.
According to Pat Bev, he was snubbed for the All 75 team.
I'm about to start calling him Bath Salt Bev because he on some.
Yeah, but Kyrie, we about to get to Jaden Ivey in the next 2 minutes. We haven't got to Jaden Ivey yet.
But Donovan Mitchell, I think, is the issue in Cleveland because he's a bucket. Don't get me wrong, he's a bucket. He's dynamic, but he's not. Right now, he's not a winner.
I agree.
And the thing is, you can have all the flash, you can have the bag, but what are you doing to contribute to winning? Besides, like I feel like when I watch Cavs games a lot, once he gets the ball, it's okay, me. But it's not. I'm not going to be mad at him because that's how he's played basketball in his life. I'm mad at how they've kind of building the team because they put some solid bigs around him, that can really play basketball. But I don't think those are the kind of bigs that he needs around him. I think he needs because they clog the lane, and
they're not scorers.
Right. That's
scorers though.
They can, but they clog the lane.
Yes,
and a lot of his stuff is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of his stuff comes off action when he gets into that intermediate area. And when you got 2 7-footers that really are waiting to catch and dunk or catch and then just turn and score, that's not really allowing him to do what he can do best. I think his style of play unless he's willing to adapt it a little bit, his style of play is more so set for a team that has like a big that stays out on those wings. That, you know what I mean? Like, or it's just he just doesn't fit. I don't feel like the system that the system being run right now in Cleveland, I don't think is conducive for ultimate success for what each player can bring to the table. It's just because they have the pieces. They have the pieces for a championship team.
Of course, they got the pieces. They've had the pieces now for 3 years.
But they're not moving them around the board in the right way, I feel like.
I don't feel they figured out the two bigs and how it could work in the playoffs. For the point you made, Will, the spacing on the floor. They haven't figured that part out, and then it becomes a little bit of a defensive liability on the other end because you never want Jared Allen chasing guys around the perimeter, and that's what teams.
Right, that's the thing. Playing center is one of the hardest things to do, especially in today's NBA.
Right, I was going to say but when teams see them go to the two bigs, teams tend to go small, pause, and force either Allen or Mobley away from the basket to create the space. And for most big men, they're not used to playing in that much space. They're not used to being in those positions where they're constantly at the 3-point line having to guard somebody. So they haven't figured that part out. But also, to what both of y'all said, you're talking about a Cleveland team that best two players are guys who rarely get past the second round of the playoffs. I mean, Harden has been to 2 Western Conference Finals. Other than that, he struggled getting past the second round. Donovan Mitchell has never been past the second round of the playoffs. And so this is what you're banking on. You're banking on 2 guys who, as leaders, have never done it. And now you're asking them to do it in what could be the most pivotal season for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Because if they don't get to an Eastern Conference Finals, there's a high probability they're going to trade one of those bigs and they're going to kind of hit restart on this team. So I don't trust them. I've already said I don't trust them. Again, styles make fights. Yeah, they should win in the first round. Do I trust them to beat Boston or a healthy Detroit? No, I don't trust them to beat either one of those teams. And I don't think they could beat the Knicks either. I truly think Cleveland is I think Cleveland is the 4th best team in the East. So
but they get on a bad day, on a bad 7, they could lose to Philly.
Yeah.
I mean, if we keep it a buck, they could lose Philly on a bad 7.
I think Philly, and I said this on Monday, I think Philly is a real problem for certain teams in the first round. Anything after the first round, I don't trust Philly. But in the first round, when you're telling me you ain't got to play every day, so Embiid and Paul George get that extra day of rest, 2 days of rest, I think if you're Detroit, you do not want to face Philly because I think that's a nightmare matchup for Detroit to have to play them. And if you're Philly, again, you can let Joel kind of feast in those type of matchups because, again, we don't have to play tomorrow. So, Joel, you got 35 minutes tonight. Go ahead. Give me 35 minutes.
And for real, do we even know what we getting for Philly? You know what I'm saying? But I feel like
I think we saw little glimpses earlier. Before Paul George got suspended, there were some glimpses where they were showing some stuff. And I'm be honest, I don't mind what they're doing. I do agree with you, Will, because I know you said it on Monday. They need to hand the keys to the young guys, and they've done that for the most part. It's really Maxey and Edgecombe. But I kind of like when they have the lineups where PG kind of initiates the offense and Maxey can play off ball. And I like that in a playoff situation, we know the game is going to slow down. So you got to be able to execute on a half court. And that's where Embiid and Paul George can be most effective, right? Regular season, it's going to be more frenetic, more up and down. But when those possessions get a little more intense, Embiid, we know, can still get you 25.
And I love I almost said a big violation. I love a larger stature player bringing the ball up the court. in playoff situations too, that can really get his own shots or whatever. I say larger stature. I was almost saying some wild shit. Hold on, but I like big guards bringing the ball up the court in playoffs because sometimes in playoff situations, that can create a mismatch right off top when you bring the ball up because a lot of teams get
matchups.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to Nestor from Hot Seat Podcast. I see you on the IG. I'm gonna get to that question in a second. A couple more, and then we're gonna get to this Jaden Ivey conversation. Kyrie wants to know: North Carolina needs a head coach, a blue blood program. Who is the perfect coach to revive their program? I think it's Kenny Smith, somebody who's got ties. somebody who knows the game very well, somebody who's still very close to the game and close to a lot of players and close to a lot of young recruits. So I think Kenny Smith would be perfect. But I wouldn't mind Jerry Stackhouse. And I'm gonna throw a wild card out there. I think Rasheed Wallace should at least get an interview.
Trip.
Kenny Smith. I will go with Kenny Smith. My only issue is what happens with all the analyst stuff. Then if he does take that job,
I mean, you step away from it. You step away. I mean, there's been other guys being groomed. I mean, you see Melo does it now, T-Mac, Vince Carter. So there's other guys. I'm not saying they're going to be as good as Kenny Smith.
No, I'm just going to miss Kenny Smith if he leaves. That's all. That's my only thing.
Right.
I would love that opportunity for him, no, but I'm just me being selfish and wanting to see Kenny Smith with Shaq and Chuck.
Who you like, Will?
The Kenny Smith thing, I understand the ties, but I don't think he has the time because he not only does he do the analyst stuff, he does a lot of stuff behind the scenes in Hollywood and production in a lot of these in a lot of black series that people don't realize. Like he's executive producer for a lot of black Hollywood. If y'all check the credits, he's a busy guy. He's got a lot going on, and I don't think he wants. Like, if you got all this going on, plus the easy TV money, why you want to go on that grind of coaching? You know, I don't really think. I think he's been living that good life long enough where he don't need to really get into that kind of grind. Yeah. But as far as and I've been saying this, it was a joke at first, but what King Rice, man, why ain't nobody talking about King Rice? King Rice been coaching at the collegiate level for a minute. He played at a high level. He was a high-level recruit in North Carolina. But see, that's another thing. This was a long time ago, fellas. This was when I was a kid. King Rice was when J.R. Reed was. Y'all remember J.R. Reed? Mm-hmm. No, the Layman leads. That was J.R. Reed's point guard.
That might be what it is. They may want a bigger name.
Yeah,
we'll keep putting names in there that's going to win games in the regular. If you want a big name, Hubert Davis was the guy. Now. He won regular season games, but didn't they go to the championship a few years ago, but lost?
Yeah.
So then the next year they lost in the first round, right? And then this year they lost the second round?
Second round.
But I mean, North Carolina ain't been that team that's in the Final Four every year for a long time. So why are they acting like Hubert Davis was a downfall? Because
no, I don't think it was just Hubert Davis. I think the landscape of college basketball is completely different, and it's
right.
It's one of the things that Coach Pitino recently talked about, that with the NIL money and the transfer portal, it's not like back in the days where a young recruit idolized a particular school. Now, anybody from any part of the country or any part of the world, for that matter, can go to whatever school they want to go to based on the offer. And that's why I think Kenny Smith is the right guy for it, because you need somebody who can navigate that NIL money and the transfer portal, and it's going to kind of bring excitement to the program. I think Kenny Smith fits all that.
And I'm gonna say this though, I'm completely against Jerry Stackhouse, because Jerry Stackhouse is a tough nose. Like his mentality is not what these young players is about. Jerry Stackhouse is in the era of tough guys, and these softies these days, I think it'd be too much of a disconnect. I really do between his mentality and Sheed. To be honest, I think him and Sheed would have these boys crying these days.
The reason I think Stackhouse is a great fit is because Stackhouse is already coaching at the pro level. And for a lot of these young men, that's what they want to hear. They want to know, how am I going to get to that next level? And if you guys
they don't.
Yeah,
do they want to hear that?
Yeah. A lot of these guys who have NBA aspirations, how am I getting to the next level? If Jerry Stackhouse recruits you and has a conversation with you as somebody who has been on an NBA bench for X amount of years, and can say, I am creating the pathway for guys where we now consistently produce NBA talent. Because this is the same reason Coach Cal is able to recruit the way he recruits. Because Coach Cal has created the pipeline where he knows, I can get you there. You trust me, you give me the 1 year, I can get you there. Mm-hmm.
But now the
Stackhouse would
difference,
do the
though,
same thing.
that I would agree with that 10 years ago. But now with NIL money, I don't need you, Stackhouse. I can just
Cal,
go. I can know what it's like to be a pro because I'm getting
right?
paid in college.
But
So
Cal
it's
is
not
doing
like
it.
I don't need that no more
Oh,
because they don't have the they
Cal,
don't have the
money,
desire. They don't have you getting paid in
I don't
school
believe
now.
that.
So you
I
know
don't
it's
believe
not
that.
like I gotta get to the league to get paid.
No,
It's
listen.
not like I gotta grind to
Yes,
get paid. You already getting paid.
the
but
work ethic and what it's really going to take to go pro is two different things.
there's still guys
No,
who
I
there's
don't
still
think
guys.
so. That's why the league is. I feel like the league quality of players is going
Listen,
down. It's because it's
that's a
A lot
easier.
of
hold
guys
on, hold
that
on,
are
hold on,
getting
hold on. That's a hold on, hold on,
NIL
hold on,
money
hold
that
on,
won't
hold
go
on.
to the league.
That's a hold on. That's a whole nother conversation. But we're not going to pretend that certain coaches don't have influence and be able to direct a guy to the league. Because if Cal didn't have that, how is Cal being able to recruit at Arkansas, a school that is not a basketball blue blood? How was Cal able to do that at Memphis? These kids still trust Cal. And let's not pretend NIL money is public and everybody knows they're getting paid. But we're not going to pretend like guys wasn't getting paid 20 years ago. You telling me D Rose wasn't getting paid at Memphis?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, all
But
right.
I
So
mean,
that's
you
what I'm
name
saying.
Coach Cal. Let's name the rest. Who else? Coach
No,
Cal's he's a one off. It's not like it's a country full of Coach Cals. You know what I'm
well,
saying? Like he's always operated that way.
No, but there are a
Cal,
lot of coaches that can recruit just based off of the name.
right. That's what I'm saying. Cal is the prime example of I can go to any school because I've created the pipeline to get you to the next level. And my point for Jerry Stackhouse is, yeah, he may coach harder than a lot of these guys do now, right? Because he's from an older generation. But it's still going to be the wow factor for a lot of guys if he's there recruiting you and saying, listen, you come to North Carolina, I'm putting you around the best coaches that are going to get you the pipeline to go there. We can shake our head all we want, but a lot of these guys who
I'm gonna tell you what. How'd that work for Juwan Howard?
I mean,
same situation, pretty identical.
I don't know if Juwan Howard had the extensive coaching resume that Stackhouse has had, though.
He was in Miami as a coach for years, undisposed.
As like a third assistant. Stackhouse has been coaching in the NBA for over 10 years at this point. It's
It's
almost
pretty
the same
similar,
example
though.
itself. I don't think so. I think it's a different scenario. Now, again, Juwan didn't do well. Shit, Patrick Ewing ain't do well in Georgetown. Certain guys just
Nope.
aren't meant to be a coach. But when they went there, the better question is, when they went there, did it help recruitment?
No, not Pat Ewing for sure didn't. And Pat
Okay.
Ewing coached in the NBA for like 20 years before he got that job.
Yeah, he
No,
did.
but when he went to
When he went to
college,
Georgetown, that first 2 years, did it help with recruitment? We would have to look back and see what type of incoming class they would get.
They had one fat point guard that was decent. I can't remember his name.
We would have to look back and see.
It didn't do nothing for
Hold
Georgetown.
on, we spending too much time on this topic anyway. All I'm saying is, I think Stackhouse could do it. To me, Kenny Smith would be the number one guy, in my opinion. That should be the number one guy. But I think Stackhouse could do it. I think she could do it as well. A couple more real quick, and then we're going to get to the Jaden Ivey conversation. Oh, there's a quick boxing question. This came from Nesta over on Instagram. What y'all thoughts on Keith Thurman fight? Trip, I'm going to let you go first.
We don't get had that. Boxing.
we don't even have to make this little long drawn out thing. He got dog walked. That was it. Maybe the ref stopped the fight a little too early, but you don't want a guy dying in the ring and that being on you.
Keith Thurman got his ass whooped, and he couldn't accept that he got his ass whooped. He tried to blame the ref for the stoppage. The fight was not close. He was losing on every scorecard. He got buckled twice in the fight. He mounted no significant offense against Fundora. And so the ref even said to him, you got to show me something. And for Keith Thurman to try to use the justification, we've seen fighters continue with a broken orbital bone. I didn't break my orbital bone. That don't mean you wasn't getting your ass whipped.
And that don't mean it wasn't going to be broken had you stayed in the ring longer.
Bro, he swole up both your eyes, bro. You was only gonna be able to fight and see, but for so long. The ref made the right call, and I think as time goes on, Keith Thurman will thank the ref for stopping it when he stopped it. All right. Let's get to the topic of the night. We're gonna bring Will back on the stage. Will, let me know once you're ready to give me a thumbs up. But we got to get to the topic of the night. It is the biggest story circulating in sports news right now, and in media. I think it's starting to pick up steam even through just traditional media. Jaden Ivey. Wes Wesley said the Jaden Ivey mess. Since our show was on Monday, he has got back on live 2 or 3 times. He says his wife and his family had turned on him. He went at Curry. He recently went at Anthony Edwards. He's thrown shots at LeBron James. But I think he gets $10 million. Will, I'm going to let you start this one off right here. It is.
Wait. I got questions. All I knew about was the release because of the gay comments. What else is going on with him?
He questioned Steph's faith. He brought up a scenario that recently took place with Anthony Edwards, where Anthony Edwards used a derogatory term towards a gay man. He talked about LeBron's support of LeBron and the NBA support of the LGBTQ community. Then he started to go on about how his wife and his family have pretty much turned their back on him since everything has happened. I got to double check. He might be still owed $10 million. I don't quite remember what.
Oh, he got that guaranteed. They paid him that today.
The NBA money is all guaranteed. I'm just saying I don't know what he still had left on his contract because remember
10.4.
So that's what he got. I mean,
yeah, that's all 10.4.
Minus, you figure minus his agent fees and whatever taxes he probably paid. If they paid him up front, he probably stuck with about 4.5. So he got that, but his career is probably over. But Will, I'm gonna let you go first. This is the final topic of the night, guys. Remember, subscribe to the podcast, the Sanchez Show, Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Real Fans, Real Talk, 7 p.m. on Mondays. Will, give me your thoughts on this, bro.
Jaden Ivey, 5th pick in the draft, right? What, 2023, 2022? About 4 years ago? 2022, I think.
That was 22. Yeah.
I think his career average is around 9 points a game, maybe 9 points a game. If he was hooping, he'd still be on the team. Period. That's all it comes down to. If he was a hooper, he'd still be on the team. If he was giving you 20 a night, he'd still be on the team. 9 a night is not worth the backlash. It's not worth the protests. It's not worth the distractions for the team. You're not bringing enough to the table. You know what I'm saying? For all this noise around it. That's the business aspect, first of all. Then, I mean, I'm not going to say he can't believe what he believes in or, have his feelings about whatever, But in freedom of speech, I believe in all that 1,000%. But freedom of speech, you can say what you want, but there can be consequences to what you say. We all know that. All three of us sitting here know that. We can't just go out on our job saying whatever we want to say and say, well, the Fifth Amendment protects me to say whatever I want to say. That's not what real life is. When you're at work, you gotta chill, man. You know what I'm saying? Just because you hoop don't make your job different from E doing your day-to-day, from Trip doing your day-to-day on mine. Just because you play basketball for millions of dollars, you still at work, man. You still working for somebody. Somebody's still signing your check. Your name ain't on your name ain't at the top of the check. It's in the middle. It's still somebody else's name at the top of that check. And until yours is at the top, you can't say whatever the hell you want to say, man. And I mean, and if it's unfortunate that's what it is. It's also unfortunate that you felt like that you needed to be the voice of unacceptance. But that's a story for another day. You didn't have to say it. But if you felt that convicted in your beliefs that you needed to go out there and speak it, then you're gonna have to deal with it too, bro. And I say a lot of stuff too. That if it gets brought back to me, it's because I said it. And that's it's on me. So you know better. You know better than anybody else because you play in the NBA, and you know better than anybody else on the terms of being able to say what the hell you want to say and not have to deal with your employers. I think this came down to a work situation, and the employer felt like that the employee was not worth the damage that can be brought to my conglomerate, my organization. So we'll see you. You know what I'm saying? We'll see you when we see you.
Yeah. Trip, what you think?
Yeah. No, I agree. Pretty much everything that Will said. Eric and I, we always say we give a guy 3 years before we say, what he is going to be or what he is in the professional capacity. We are now, I would say, 3/4 of the way through year 5. I definitely don't see superstar. I don't see All NBA potential. I don't even really see All Star potential. And then, as Will said, when you look at the 11 and a half on the season, it's not enough for me to say, all right, I'm going to deal with what's going to come with these comments and these outbursts. It's just not enough. John Morant was able to come back from all the gun stuff because it was John Morant. And we seen what he was out here doing prior to that. We ain't got that from Jaden Ivey, so the resume is not enough to save you.
And it was just guns. It wasn't people in their livelihood. You know what I'm saying? In this climate now, you can't play around with that, man.
But this is the part. Like I went back and watched some of the lives and the comments he put up in the comment section and things people say. And first of all, people have a major comprehension issue, right? Because people think that just because they feel a certain type of way about it, that it's right. As Will said, freedom of speech still exists. But with freedom of speech comes the consequences of whatever you said. You don't get absolved just because, it's freedom of speech, I can say whatever I want. No, that's not how it works. There are actions behind that can take place. And in this case, the Chicago Bulls felt like it wasn't worth the headache. So that's first things first. Secondly, let's stop pretending like the rules are different or the rules aren't different when it comes to superstar players and just average players. And that's in life. All right. If you're the star employee at your job, let's say you work sales. If you work sales and you're the number one seller month in, month out, the boss gonna have a lot more leeway for you than the guy who's number 10 in sales. All right. Let's call it what it is. All right. If you're a guy who always comes to work and you're always on time, but now you go through a rough patch where you're late or you had to call out, the boss gonna have a little bit more leeway for you than that guy who consistently calls out or is consistently going home early from work.
Yep.
Right? So Jaden Ivey, I heard him make the statement about, the league is, and certain people that are supporting him, the league was okay with Anthony Edwards and the things he was saying. They was okay with John Morant coming back and the gun charge. Yeah, those guys are NBA superstars. Guess who people pay the tickets to come see?
Yeah.
And John did a suspension though too.
No, he did. But ain't nobody. Jaden Ivey, what's your jersey ranked in sales?
Number one in his mother's house.
Let's keep it a buck, right? You going on live and you condemning people based off of their lifestyle choices, and then trying to hide behind the idea, well, it's fact because that's what the Bible states. No, that might be your truth. That does not mean that's everybody's truth.
Yeah.
You can't just run around, it's fact just because the Bible says it. And
who said I believe in that book?
Yeah. And then I think what really set some of the people within the NBA off is that there was a comment. I don't know if y'all saw this, but there was somebody who commented on his live as he's going on his rant who said, I'll pray for you. And he responds, I don't need the prayers of a sinner. Like you holier than thou, and you're better than this person.
Yeah.
How do you even know they're a sinner?
Right. And I think that's what I think again, he was so stubborn in his conviction that it was like, yo, bro, there's people that's not even trying to come at you right now, and you're condemning people to hell.
Yeah. So that and with that and with all of that, nobody's gonna go to bat for you.
Right. Nobody is questioning.
Nobody except for Jaden fucking Ivey.
Nobody is questioning your beliefs. Nobody is questioning what you stand on. I also want to say this too. I always find it very, very funny when people want to recite the parts of the Bible that fit their narrative.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say that.
If you're so devout of a Christian and a believer of the book, right? You have children out of wedlock.
Yeah.
Why aren't
you have sex out of wedlock, right? Or out of marriage?
Right. Why are you not condemning those people that fornicate outside of marriage?
Why are you wearing more than one fabric at a time?
Right.
You're supposed to be stoned for that.
Like, again, you're condemning people who don't live by that one part of the book, but you yourself, we could point, and again, none of us are without sin.
Yeah.
But I just always find it ironic. I always find it ironic that people will hold on to one particular scripture or part of the book and ignore all the things they've done themselves, because this fits the narrative that I want to talk about right now. Him taking the shots at Steph is wrong. You questioning Steph's beliefs and how devout of a Christian he is because he doesn't fall in line with the things that you support. Who are you to say you're any better than that man? Who are you to, like, again, to me, that doesn't seem very Christian-like and following in the footsteps of the Lord. But I just think Jaden Ivey, on the simplest form and at the lowest level of all this, let's keep it a buck. If you was a star player, if you was driving revenue, if you was one of the faces of the league, yeah, the Chicago Bulls would have had a lot more leeway for you, without a doubt. But when you're a guy who's coming off the bench, as Will said, you're averaging 11 points, you're probably not even part of our future. We probably wasn't going to re-sign you after this year. We traded basically nothing for you to get you from Detroit. We had no obligation to stick with you. And the fans that are sitting there saying, oh, well, the NBA allows other players. Every team is an individual entity. Every team is individually owned. The NBA only steps in when it's situations like Ja Morant, where they feel like we've got to get involved because this is now a legal matter. But in terms of what goes on with your team individually, that's on you guys to handle. If you suspend a guy, you suspend a guy. If you cut a guy, you cut a guy. That's on you. That ain't got nothing to do with Adam Silver and the NBA. The Chicago Bulls felt it was time to move on from a guy that they had no long-term commitment to, and that's what it was.
Yep.
The
risk not worth the reward.
Right.
At all.
They're not tolerating that. That's it. That's all it is to it. And you're gonna be lucky if you get another chance in this league. And if you do, you know what I'm saying, unfortunately, you're gonna have to keep your head down.
Yeah. And you're gonna have to apologize to folk too.
Oh,
you have to swallow your pride and apologize. And with the
you can't stand on business if you want to come back.
Yeah, like with how he was coming out with these comments, you can't go back and apologize for him. So, I mean, like you said, like if you standing on that type of business, it ain't no backing down from it.
Right. I'm just curious because I even went on his page just to see if like there was like something leading up to this. He recently started posting more about, you know, his devotion, his faith, and reading the book. And you can see that on his IG page. But like I said, a lot of that is recent, like within the last month or two. Yeah. So when I saw the live, I was trying to figure out, like, was there something that provoked what he was saying? Was there an incident that provoked it? He went out of his way to condemn a particular group of people and then like even be mad at the NBA for supporting that group of people. It's like you see, I didn't. Yeah,
I never saw it brought it out. Like the one I saw the initial comment where he said that something about the NBA celebrating. What was the word he used? It was mad disrespectful to that community. But that was the first comment I heard about. But it felt like, but the way, because you know how the media is, it sounded unsolicited, like he was just talking.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I didn't hear the conversation, so I'm not sure. I can't speak on that 1,000%.
Yeah, like I said, it was kind of unprovoked. He was on his live.
That's what it sounded like. Yeah.
He just started talking about stuff, and then he goes down this rabbit hole in this rant, and in terms of like his family and his wife turning his back on him, I can't really speak to that. I don't know what the dynamic of the family is. Now, it's possible that the family might have been upset because he may have offended people that was close to his family members.
Could be, yeah.
He might have he could have family members that are part of that community. His
we all got it. Right. We all got it.
His wife might. That's a very good point. His wife might have family members that are part of that community. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
We all got them community. We all got it.
Of course, but I'm saying, imagine on the flip, right? Will, a trip where one day, you know what I'm saying, you hear your wife say some derogatory things about your people, you're gonna feel like, damn, where's this coming from? Do you always feel like this?
Yeah, that's
You know what
wild.
I'm saying? You always felt like this? Like, so when my family was over, this how you was feeling?
Yep.
So I can't blame his family for feeling that way because again, now you put us in the bullshit.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be looking at us like we crazy. Like, wait,
Yeah, right.
I
Like,
know. Yeah.
so I don't blame his family for that. I think whether he apologizes or not, I think he got to get to the root of whatever's really bothering him. That's what I think he got to do. He got to get to the root of what's bothering him because, like I said, it was an unprovoked just rant.
It's like, what happened to you? What happened to you, son? Who touched you?
Like, yeah, like just completely unnecessary rant, bro. Like, nah, but Will's right, bro. Sometimes,
I mean, for real, bro. What happened?
sometimes
You just lash out for no reason. Like, what?
like, just on a
It's something
random,
more deep rooted. It's something more deep rooted than this.
just like on a random Monday afternoon, you was just in a car going crazy, like
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, hold on, man.
yeah, I don't know, man. Let's get ready to wrap up. Trip, give me a final thought.
Yo, man, first of all, shout out to my brothers, man. Salute to my brothers, Will and Eric. Shout out to all the supporters. Big shout out to Imani and Pops because she was hitting me up, letting me know she had set Pops up so he could watch the show tonight and whatnot. So salute to
that's
you.
what's happening.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Shout out to Pops. What up, Pops?
Will, what you got?
Shout out. I'm glad Trip could join tonight. I hit up Eric earlier. I was like, yo, is Trip on tonight? What's going on? We need the you know what I'm saying, the 3-headed monster back out here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. Pause.
Well, I'm
Is Trip back? We need a 3-headed monster.
That was crazy. That's crazy.
Hey, yo, you know what?
Jaden Ivey,
whatever the fine is, I'm willing to pay it. That was a straight violation right there. My bad. My bad. That was a straight violation. But no, or it's like a little quick two-parter.
Okay,
go ahead, Trip.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy that we just finished talking about this topic because I'm in Wednesdays. I'm in church running the live stream on Bible study. That's why sometimes I can't back in time. It's Holy Week this week, so they didn't have Bible study tonight. So I was like, all right, bet I can get back, with the bros tonight. But listen, man, just in regards to Jaden Ivey, man, I'm in church at this point in my life. You know what I'm saying? At least a minimum of two days out the week, I'm in church. And
he disrespected your choir directors.
I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna do that. You trying to get me to lose my job? Well,
my bad, man. Praise and worship gonna be different this week, bro.
Yeah, we're not judging nobody, man. We're not out here going on these, crazy rants. But
I couldn't help it.
God bless him. God bless him.
As always, shout out to the supporters. The comment section was booming tonight. Even on IG, some comments was coming through, so we greatly appreciate that. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Sanchez Show and Real Fans Real Talk. We'll be back Monday 7 p.m. Then Wednesday 7:30 p.m. Hold on, Will, I got you. What else we got? Oh, there was some breaking news as we were talking. I don't know if y'all saw my face scrunched up. I don't know all the details because they haven't come out. Apparently, Puka Nacua has checked himself in rehab. There is no details. His agent says he's been in rehab for the past week, but they officially released a statement today. So there are no further details at this point. I don't know what's going on there. I know there was the recent lawsuit from the woman that claims he bit her and said some anti-Semitic statements.
Shit.
So, Yeah, but his agent just released that statement. And then I also want to say yesterday was the anniversary of one of the most unfortunate events in our culture. And it's crazy, 7 years have already gone past. Thoughts and prayers, RP to the legend, Nipsey Hussle. I can't believe it's already been 7 years, man. But yesterday was the anniversary of that unfortunate day. Yeah, man, we missed the legend, man. We needed more like Nipsey out here.
Yeah, he was on his way. He was on his way to making a difference on a bigger scale for sure.
Yeah, Will, you have one more thing you wanted to say, right?
Yeah, I had one. And I think it's fitting because it's the Final Four coming up. It's something that we all as fans of basketball do and say. But I did some, like, y'all can look this shit up. But when we talk about schools like Kentucky, Duke, Kansas, uh, Indiana, you know what I mean? What do we call those schools?
The Blue Bloods?
Yep. Guess what? That's racist as hell.
Yeah.
Guess where blue blood comes from? And y'all can look this shit up. I'm telling you, this is real.
Doesn't it date back to English royalty?
It dates back to no, it doesn't. This is over here. This is the motherfucker that came over here.
That thing was pure blood. That's why
Exactly.
they keep it in the family.
Because before oxygen hits the blood, your blood's blue, and your skin was clear. So when they talk about blue blood schools, they're talking about pure blood schools, which is almost like,
right.
I mean, that was the true definition of it then. Over the years, it gets watered down, and I won't even say watered down, it gets more deflected. But the name stays the same. But I mean, we all do it, we all say it, we just need to be a little bit more cognizant of what we're saying. Like every time we talk about blue blood schools, we really on some racist shit when we say that. Like,
no, you're right, because I didn't know. I thought it dated back to like royalty, and that's why it was used in a sports term.
No, it dates back to it, you know what? Because you gave it too much credit.
To be honest with you, I haven't really heard like the people referring to those schools as blue blood schools, like in the media. I haven't really heard it as much as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe it's been more recognized now, with the climate we living in now. But it's just something that's always been a thing, and I just feel like now more so with the climate we're in, that I just want to let the supporters and everybody that's listening into us know that we all say it. Like I say it, we all say it. But that's another example of systemic shit that's put in our head that we just see as normal, that really at the brass roots of it has a real ugly underlying tone to it. So I'm gonna just say pledge to the listeners and you guys too, and myself in this moment. We need let's try to go away from that term, the blue bloods, and try to figure out something else, like more like maybe more like traditional schools, traditionally power schools, or something like that. Because that blue blood thing in this core is straight racist.
That's what they call it. The elite schools in football is Power 5.
Yeah,
it's Power 5 conferences and all that. We need to come up with something that's more non-effed up as blue blood. Because when you really look at the history of that, we talking neo-Nazi type shit. When you're talking about, that's that pure white one, blonde hair, blue eyes, blue blood type stuff. So I mean, it might sound wild to some of the younger supporters. Google that shit. It's a real thing.
Okay. No, that's a fact. Listen, we're about to wrap. We'll be back on Monday night, 7 p.m. Shout out to my brothers again, Trip Young, Will Gordon. This was the Sanchez Show, man. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your Easter weekend. We'll see you guys next week, man. We out of here.
Peace.